Aloha, welcome to this video. So this week I'm starting a personal piece. This is going to be a slashing style pahoa or a dagger. So it's going to be, instead of a marlin bill tip like some of the recent ones that I made on my last videos, this one's going to be made entirely out of koa wood, and it's going to be the shape of a knife or blade. And then on the blade section, it's going to have shark teeth. Now for this piece, I'm actually going to be doing quite a bit of inlays as well. I'm going to be putting some of the whalebone that I have on it too. The first step here is just sketching out the general design. I accidentally started sketching it out with my marker. I usually don't do that. I usually sketch first with a pencil and then I overlay with the marker. I do that just because I tend to make small corrections as I'm sketching it out, and if you do that with the marker, sometimes it can be difficult to keep track of where you are in the piece, and so I just usually sketch it out with a pencil and then draw over that with the marker to make it easier for me to go and take it to the bandsaw and rough cut it out. So the next step here is just going to be some basic shaping. I'm not going to be shaping it too far with the angle grinder. I am taking, or rather I'm getting the general shape, but as soon as I get it to a certain point, I'll just be switching right to the sanding disc. The main reason for that is I don't want to take off too much material. I haven't yet planned out where each of the inlays are going to go. I'm kind of still in the process of figuring it out, which is kind of my favorite way of doing things. I get the general idea, but then I like to mix and match and trial and error and go from there. And so the next step after I finish with the basic shaping is I am going to cut in the lanyard strip. So this is where the lanyard is going to go. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do just a basic lanyard with a lashed wrist strap, or if it's going to have feathers on it as well. I might do both. Haven't yet decided. Kind of depends on how the rest of the piece feels. Usually if I don't put feathers on the strap, it's for one of two reasons. Either one, it just doesn't fit, it looks out of place, or two, I don't want to detract from the piece. And the feathers are colorful and bright, and so they can kind of distract from the piece if your balance is off. And so for that reason, I haven't yet decided. As I get closer to that point in time, I'll probably make the decision then. But for the most part, all I'm doing here is sanding down to 150. I'm probably not going to sand it down to 250 or 220 until after I put in the inlays, and then I'll sand the whole piece down to 220, and then sand the whole piece down to 320, and I'll probably leave it at 320. Kind of depends. There's a small chance I might take it past 320, maybe 400 or 800. But it's, again, I'm kind of just going step at a time and figuring it out as I go. I already knew the general design in my mind, so the rest of it is kind of just creative freedom to make my own piece. It's going to be a personal piece, and so I'm kind of just having fun with it. Now for this contour change here, I need to do it with my chisel set. I will be sanding after this, but the chisels help create that nice crisp line transition. I wouldn't be able to do that with my sanding disc or with just a sander, so the chisels that I'm using kind of help clean that up. It takes quite a while. I have quite a bit of more chisel work to do. The inlays that I'm going to be putting in, or I'm going to be using my chisels for as well. I'll probably do a combination of a circular inlay for the whalebone and a triangle or niho inlay, a tooth. So the triangle pattern in Hawaiian represents a shark tooth, and when you have them in a row, it's a nihumano pattern, and that's just a shark tooth pattern, but it represents a lot of different things. One of the big things that it represents is lineage, but there's some other things in there too. I just know in general that I want to use that pattern style of the niho, and then from there I can figure out what I'm gonna kind of mix and match from there. The first step I have to do is make templates. So I make usually the first large templates and then grind those out and shape them in, and then once I have those first templates, I can go and make the next ones. I accidentally broke the first template. I was trying to score the pearl and then break it off, and I accidentally broke a corner off the triangle off the niho pattern, and it just didn't work out. So instead I took it to the grind wheel, grinded it down, and then I'm using the metal file here just to square up all the edges, make sure they're all nice and clean, and then this will be one of my templates meshed with this one, and then I'll be alternating back and forth. This is actually all I had time for this week. Unfortunately, I probably won't have a video out next week. I'll be pretty busy, but I should be a lot further on, if not finished, by the week after. So mahalo nui for everyone that watches, and thank you for following along, and I'll see you next week. Aloha.